So I've just got into the back of someone. No. Yeah, sorry. My internet no working? It says yes, but it no. And another thing, toilet, very smelly. You know what I mean? Like sewer coming from toilet, whole flat is like, oh.
Okay.
Alright, come on. It's been such a peaceful couple of days in my flat. There's been no staff, no builders. There's been one family in the house here. Very quiet. Not family, but just a couple. Very quiet. And yes, currently my apartment does somewhat smell of feces. And I can assure you it's not just my explosive rear end. Like it's like a deep sewerage smell. But I imagine they'll be able to sort that with some sort of chemical, no doubt. And the internet's been superb. But anyway, what's much more interesting than that, maybe, perhaps, potentially, probably not, is, yeah, I love this flat. I absolutely love this flat, but I'm very aware that it could change at any minute. You know, somebody could move in next door at any moment, and that makes a huge difference. There was somebody who left a really good comment on one of the recent videos, actually, where they said they'd got to a place where it was just they knew that for their sanity they needed a non-negotiable boundary, that wherever they live they never have an adjoining wall with another property. And I just totally agree. So basically my visa expires in less than a month, and obviously I'm just going to stay here for that month unless something dramatic changes. They've promised me that this half of the building that clearly needs building work isn't going to happen for 3 months. So, you know, I'm very much at the end of this visa, I'm moving on from Vietnam. You know, that's where I'm at. But then I'm thinking, well, if I could have this for another 2 months. And you know, you saw how hard it was to find something like this. Now, admittedly, those lessons I learned in terrible properties, apartments, rushing things, ignoring red flags, obviously they've been learned and they'll be taken to the next country. So, you know, I'm confident that I can find something equivalent much faster next time. But it's hard. It's hard. So I'm thinking to myself, if I know for 2 more months that I can live in peace and in nature, then maybe, yeah, maybe I should do another one of those horrendous visa runs, because the airport still isn't open. So yeah, another one of those, whatever it is, 36 hours, 48 hours really, when you take into account having to go the night before for the flight. I think this time though, I won't go to Nha Trang. I won't, yeah, because that just extends it by another almost 24 hours. I'll do the sleeper bus twice. Now I know that the sleeper bus isn't that bad. I'll go to Dalat to Ho Chi Minh on the sleeper bus straight. And then I'm going to use a visa agent this time, so I'm going to be able to turn it around and get a 3-month visa in 24 hours. So that's where I'm at today. It's time to replace the gorgeous flowers of Dalat, return those to the land. It's deeply ingrained in me to return flowers to the land, from a peyote shaman that I did a lot of work with, who was very adamant that, you know, if you take from Gaia, you give back to Gaia. And Pachamama would actually be the word he would use. So I'm going to go and return those flowers to the lands, and then Leslie, bless her, Leslie, my regular donator on Buy Me a Coffee, which of course you can find in the description below, really amazing supporter, has left me £25 and said buy yourself a bunch of flowers. I don't think she realises that things are a bit cheaper in Vietnam. So £25 will probably buy me the best part of 10 bunches of flowers. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and buy some really special ones, like some roses or something, and like obviously not worry about the money and feel the deep gratitude of Leslie's kindness. And then do I go and buy a SIM card? I think I finally need to go and buy a SIM card, because it's just not worth it. 1 day of no internet costs me more than a SIM card would cost me anyway, if it means I can't upload videos. So now you can hear maybe that the thunder is thundering It's rumbling, it's about to pop. Feels like we're half an hour away from big rainfall, which we haven't had for a few days, so when it comes, it's going to really come. But at some point, I'd like to get out there and get a SIM card. So I decided to take a chance and just brave it, and literally as I strapped up and got ready to go, the spots started falling on the ground. Ah, oh, man, I'm so bored. It's so, like, obviously England's super rainy, but I feel like you get trapped by the rain here more. Like, when it happens less, but it's just way more aggressive. Like, it totally wipes out. Like, oh, it's a scooter thing, innit, of course. Yeah, it's because I trapped on a scooter out here. Fuck it, man. I'm probably going to really regret this. I hate driving in that plastic. I hate driving in the rain, but it's like 2 o'clock. I spent all day in the flat. There's no internet. I've had a really nice morning, but, you know, I'm done with self. I need some external doing to occur. And the police have just started up the sound system. So, yeah, definitely time to get on my bike. Hello, you sell the Vittel SIM card? Yeah. I thought this the signage is like official, but it's clearly not an official shop. The Vittel SIM card. Okay, I managed to get out of it. It was one of those awkward people-pleasing moments where you think something is something, a Vittel shop, an official shop, and then you walk in there and you realise it's not, and then they're asking you questions and you just want to get out of there. Anyway, I managed to do it. But yeah, look, it's got an official big Vittel sign, so that's what I fell for. But the minute I walked in and just saw second-hand iPhones, I thought, oh shit. Just felt that people pleaser panic where I end up getting into a conversation which I don't, you know, no, this is the wrong shop, I want to go to an official Vittel store, sorry. Then you can't even say that because of a language barrier. It's awful, man, I hate that shit. Anyway, if you want some sea snails, this is where you come. Okay, let's put our brown coconut theory to the test. I've just driven past a wagon that's selling them for 12,000 instead of a 17,000. I think these are going to be amazing. I've had them before, I know they're amazing, and I just thought, oh, it was a random, amazing, really sweet coconut. But no, I think these are really special. Hello, friend.
Hello.
Can I get 4 coconuts? Chopped. Come on. Oh, sirens and mayhem up ahead. Whoa, whoa, what is going on? I can't zoom in because the camera's gone all spazzy. That's 4 massive army trucks. 5, there's another one coming. What is going on up there? Oh, I just used a black word, how disgusting. So that's 5, 6. Perfect. And then a police car, wow. That's, yeah, something's kicking off in Vietnam. Look at that for a machine. This guy's an absolute professional. But this is where the real profession comes in, the years of experience, the 10,000 hours to be an expert in coconut cutting. He's got to cut it so that it's soft enough for me to be able to get into, but he can't run the risk of going too far and slicing it open. Mad skill. Perfect. Come on.
Come on. Okay.
Oh, good. So I've just got into the back of someone. Sorry. No. Yeah, sorry. What, is there a problem? Is there any damage?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, what do we do? In Vietnam, what do we do?
You must pay this.
Yeah, okay.
And
So how?
And I will bring this car to Fort.
Yeah, okay.
And they will fix it.
You want my telephone number or? I don't really know how it happened. I think she slowed down, definitely my fault. And I slammed the brake that doesn't work and then just ended up in the back of it. Very strange. Anyway, this is the damage to my bike. I reckon. that will just fit back in. So we've exchanged numbers. Finding out price now, or what we wait for now? So I'm not sure what I'm waiting for. I've given my number. My understanding is she needs to go to the garage now. So I'm not sure why I'm stood here, but I feel like she's expecting me to stay here.
Hello there.
I'm starting to think she's calling the police. Like she's looking at shops and saying where we are. Very strange. What are we waiting for? Are you going to go to the garage now, or?
Because you don't have Vietnamese number, so
I give you my Zalo though.
but I cannot sure that you keep contact with me.
Okay, so what are we doing?
My fellow company and discuss this company.
Okay, so I'm here for another 30 days. I can show you my visa, no problem. If you go to the garage and get price, I will pay. That's not a problem. And I give you my number. I'm not running away. I live here. I'm not a tourist. I understand. I do understand. But I just don't know why I'm standing in rain. You know. Yeah. No. I'm sorry. I understand. But I don't know what your friend can do, because what we need is price from garage, don't we? We can't sort it out here. We can only sort it out with professional in garage, can't we? That's the problem. So even if your friends come, we can't do anything. We need garage. It all seems a bit strange to me. Is there anything else you need? Okay.
I suggest that you pay for me like 10 million Vietnam dong. So we will.
Oh, that's a lot. That's 300. That's a lot.
Wait. We will bring this car to the garage, and we will show you the proof, the bill to fix.
You think it's going to be 10 million? I don't think it's going to be 10 million.
And I will pay.
But then I'm having to trust you. Why don't we both go to the garage now?
Can you wait 10 minutes?
Okay, I go to phone shop, Vittel shop, just there, and I come back. Okay, I just want to go and buy a SIM card. Okay? Demon Dad. I thought the bike felt a bit funny as I just drove, I don't know, 3 kilometers. And I just found this piece of plastic. In fact, this young man found it and pointed it out to me. Underneath the wheel, like still attached to the wheel. So I've just been driving on this plastic for 3 kilometers. So we have a building update for those who are watching the channel when I used to live in this hellhole. Yeah, still going, still noisy. So I'm actually recording this the next day because it all just got too much for me. yeah, it was stressful. So I went back to my old flat just then to collect some posts, if you're wondering. So as you saw on the camera, you know, I was totally wanted to put that right. I'll be totally honest, I could notice the part of me, but when I smashed into the back of her and she very slowly was pulling over, like, acknowledged, like, I could so easily just drive off right now. A scooter is going to outpace a car, no problem in the city. I can acknowledge a part of me that thought that, but at no point was I like, yeah, that's the way to solve this. It was like absolutely 95% of me wanted to do the right thing, wanted to put it right, and that was my intention. It's such a difficult one because I can totally see from her point of view, and I've been where I judge her to be, so that's like very status driven, very materialistic, middle class, brainwashed, because all middle class people are brainwashed, because they're the ones that go to the indoctrination camps that we call universities and all this. And they're the ones that aren't in survival. Like, if you're in survival, like, look at the British working class, look at the working class out here. You know, there's no time for ideology, there's no time for I'm trans. You know, there's no time for liberal fucking politics that sound nice but are completely impractical. There's just none of that. Like, that's why you don't get it in the working classes. So, you know, her newish or however new Ford obviously means a great deal to her. And I get that, you know, I used to drive a G-Wagon, I used to drive a Porsche. And when I was driving those, and when I was completely in the material and completely in the external, I too would have wanted a full replacement of the bumper. Whether I'd have been like, we have to go to the Mercedes garage, I don't know, but... Right, we are in the land of bodge jobs. Like, for long-term viewers who saw my adventures on Fuqua Island, I broke the bike seat and they did what you would call a bodge job, but it was absolutely fantastic, worked brilliant, solved the problem, cost £2.50. Now, maybe I'm wrong, maybe there was more damage, maybe her sensors were affected, but what I saw was a hairline crack on the top of her bumper, which, you know, with her skill set in Vietnam for stuff like this, like, that could easily be fixed by filling it in, sanding it off, repainting it, probably for 10, 20, maybe up to £50. And you would never notice. But of course she wants to go to a Ford garage. Straight away she mentions the Ford garage, and even then I'm like, yeah, okay, here's my number. You know, what can I do? I'm in the wrong. You know, looking back on the incident now, I just don't know. I still don't know how it happened. I haven't actually watched the footage. Maybe I should watch. Oh no, because I don't film the crash. I film the aftermath. All I know is when I went to brake, sadly I hit the right brake, the one that doesn't work, because that's the one that I have used the most in the past, and therefore, like, when I'm in a panic situation, my nervous system knows to just grab that. So I grabbed that, and I remember feeling the despair. I remember the physical feeling of a brake just, you know, you can feel, like, the brake has resistance. When a brake is working, it has resistance in it, and you actually have to, like, use your muscles to pull it towards you. But when it's fucked, there's no resistance, and it's just like, boop. So I can remember the feeling of that in my hand, and I can remember the despair in my body and soul as I hurtled towards his car. And then what naturally happens when you panic on a bike, if you're, I mean, maybe it happens if you're really experienced, but I would still class myself as relatively inexperienced, you know, compared to a Southeast Asian who was put on a bike at like 3 months old, for example, and then was driving one themselves by 10 years old. I've driven a motorcycle for 1 year of my life altogether, maybe a bit more, maybe 18 months. So what I noticed a lot when I first started riding a scooter, and now I still notice in extreme situations like that, is when something goes wrong, you panic and lean back, which is obviously the worst thing you can do. And when you do that, you end up going like that, which is the accelerator. So not only did the brakes not work, I actually accelerated into the back of her. I hit her as hard as you could possibly hit someone without getting hurt. You know, any harder and I'd have come off the bike. So it wasn't super hard, but it was pretty hard. I mean, it was a real thud. And it's done some, you know, it's done some proper damage to my bike, or a Russian's bike. And, you know, I'm a bit pissed off with him for not responding adequately when I told him the brakes were fucked. I'm also pissed off with myself for not pushing back further and just being like, okay, I'll drive around on a fucked up bike and risk my life. I mean, just mental. So she mentions the Ford garage. Then she starts ringing what she says is her friends. I mean, I have no idea who she was ringing. And she's telling them the shops, and then she's telling me to stay there for 10 minutes. So, you know, I'm a foreigner on my own in a foreign land where everything is completely the opposite. I don't know the laws, I don't know the culture, I don't know anything. Now, up until this point, I've been really cordial, really, yes, I'm going to fix this. I've even said, why don't we both go to the garage right now, get the quote, and then I'll pay the money. And then she starts ringing friends to come. And so obviously my paranoid mind starts going to like, well, who are these friends? And what are they going to demand? Obviously it's going to be a load of men. Whilst my overall experience and interactions with Vietnamese people is incredibly positive, you know, I've also been scammed a couple of times. So, you know, I start going into admittedly extreme and unlikely possibilities, but, you know, possibilities like, am I going to get dragged around ATMs? Now, so then she mentions, sorry, before I go into that, she mentions giving her 10 million dong. That's like, I think £360, $400, $450 maybe. That seems way over the top. And then she does talk about like acknowledging it's over the top and giving me the rest back once she's paid for it. But then, what, you want me to put trust into another Vietnamese person after every time I've put money and trust to a point where they've had power over me into a Vietnamese person? No, that's not true. There was the concrete bunker hellhole where she gave me a full refund after I broke a chair on her ceiling and she didn't want me there anymore. So no, it's not entirely true. But I have experienced, you know, if you give more than and give power to, it gets abused. And that would absolutely happen in England as well. You know, this isn't you know, I'm not knocking Vietnam. Actually, overall, my experience is Vietnam is much more honest and trustworthy than England is now. Not what England used to be, but what England is now since we let just absolute scum and bioweapons in and everyone's just given up having any sort of morals or pleasantries or you know, everyone's just totally in survival and grab. So I started hearing £360. I started seeing that people were coming, and I basically panicked. And genuinely, like when I hit her, I was on my way to a shop that was about 100 yards away from where I hit her. So genuinely, I said to her, listen, I'm going to go and get my SIM card. I don't want to just stand here, and I'll come back. And when I said that, I guess I didn't mean it because I didn't go back. But, you know, I thought I meant it. And then as I'm driving away, yeah, I make a selfish decision. And it doesn't feel good. Like, it's not an aligned decision. It's not a decision of integrity. It's definitely coming from the shadow. Because really, if I was in total trust with the universe, I wouldn't even mind getting ripped off because I just know the universe is going to give it me back. Because basically, the more you just learn to accept and not get triggered by, not trying to control from the ego, the universe just fills that space, that creates space, and that just gets filled up with higher vibrations and more abundance. So, you know, intellectually I understand that, and I do live by that in a large percentage of my life, but sometimes it's just too much for my ego, even though I know that it's the wrong decision. And I know morally it's wrong, it makes me feel shit. It also makes me paranoid that I'm going to get into trouble, obviously. I mean, I've looked into the law and essentially it says that police are very unlikely to get involved in what they would see as a civil matter, as nobody got hurt. They said the exception to that is if she's someone important, then they will absolutely look into it, you know, like a political member or something like that. And then they said so they said it's unlikely they'll look into it, and then if you're unlucky that she's a powerful person and they do look into it, then they're not going to come searching for you. They're going to invite you to the station for a mediation. So that's I experienced that in Thailand. You know, that's how the police work out here. It's very different, and I think better. I haven't really experienced it enough or thought about it enough, but it's got to be better than our horrendous, two-tier, treasonous, disgusting, libtard police system. Police. Deep state foot soldiers. Just fucking tyrannical, absolute cunts. Just to be clear, I'm speaking about English police here. So it's definitely better because their police are patriotic and love their country. So it just has to be a million times better, even if there are some bad elements to it, which I'm not even saying there are. I don't know. So they would not just come and arrest me. They would invite me in for mediation, in which I would obviously have to take ownership for the fact it was my fault, because it was, and we would agree a price and it would be paid there at the station, and then there may be some what's called coffee money for the police as a thank you for them mediating the situation. And that's kind of worst case scenario. Absolute worst case scenario is I get done for like leaving the scene, and that's a fine of about £80 to £120. So I don't think there's, you know, I don't think it's a massive crime. I'm not. I can notice a part of my mind that wants to run away with that story and will get paranoid about it, particularly after a smoke in the evening. But really, I'm feeling good about that. It's just really the moral side and the fact that, you know, I have caused damage to someone's car and I haven't put it right. But then at the same time, it's my judgment that she's trying to scam me. So it's like, I want to meet her correctly, and then she wants to meet me with a scam, potentially. Well, I'm not playing that game. But then is that just my ego making that up to justify why I'm not doing the right thing? Oh, the shadow dance. It's an interesting one. If you think it's interesting, then check out my other channel, because we talk about this sort of stuff way more. Well, that's what it is. That's what the channel is. At Tom_GREATOREX. Let me know in the comments what you'd have done in that situation. Try and be honest. Try not to just, you know, stroke your ego and chat shit, because I'll see through it and it's boring. What's the fucking point? Honesty is the only way that life is worth experiencing. Yeah, let me know what you think in the comments, what you'd have done. Make sure you've liked the video. Of course, you've already subscribed to the channel, but just check and maybe hit the notification bell while you're there, and hype and comment and share. Maybe not share this one. Oh no, this one was quite good. Yeah, share this one. Share. Just share the love. See you soon. Thanks for all the support, especially to my Patreons and those that donate on Buy Me a Coffee. Mwah.